Lesson 8-7 is about cross sections, and this is beginning a unit on three-dimensional figures. A cross section is just a slice of a 3D figure. You could think of a loaf of bread. If you take a slice of it, you're just taking one of those little slivers of the bread that makes roughly a kind of a square or rectangular shape, and that would be called the cross section. Now we're going to draw each of these 3D shapes, so if you'll just follow along with me. I'm first going to draw a rectangle that skips down a little bit of space. So I'm just going to draw a rectangle. And then I'm going to draw a rectangle kind of up to the right behind this. And we'll start with a couple of lines across the top, across the bottom. Then we'll, where we go behind it, we'll do some dashed lines to show that we can't see it, but it is behind it. And then we connect those top left corners of the two rectangles, connect the top right two corners of the two rectangles, connect the bottom right corners of the two rectangles, and then the bottom left corners you'll use a dashed line because you can't see them. And so we have drawn a rectangle. We're going to identify the cross section that is parallel to the base. When you see parallel to the base, that tells you that it is the same as the base. So you've learned a little bit about the base of a three-dimensional figure. This is a rectangular prism, so the base will be a rectangle. So I could take the base of this and I could say this is the base. It's a rectangle. And so the cross section will just be parallel to this. So it could be right here. Notice that it's just, and I could use another color to show that. Notice that it's parallel and it is a rectangle. So that's what the cross section is. Okay, this next shape that we're going to draw is a cone. So we're going to start by drawing what looks like an upside down V. And then rather than connect the ends with a straight line, we're going to use a curve. And then behind it, we'll do a dashed line. And this is now a cone. The base of it is a circle. And we're wanting to do this. So we want to identify the cross section that is perpendicular to the base. When you see perpendicular, that means that it is not the base. So our base is a circle. The direction that's perpendicular to it is the one that's not the circle. So it's going to be going across. So what you would see if you were looking to the side of this figure is a triangle. If you were to look from the bottom of it, you'd see a circle, but that's the base. We want the shape that's not the base, so we're looking at the triangle. So that's our answer. The cross section is a triangle. Example 3, we're going to look at a three-dimensional shape that's called a pyramid. To draw a pyramid, we're going to start by drawing a triangle. We can draw a square at the base. So I'm going to show dashed lines to the left side and to the back side of it. And then I'm going to connect each triangle. So I've got my front triangle. Then I'm going to have my right triangle, where I go from the top and connect to the bottom. Well, it's really the triangle at the base. It's the top right corner of the base. And then I have this back corner that I'll use a dashed line. So this is kind of a funny looking pyramid. A pyramid is made up of a base, In this case, it's a square, and it has 4 sides for each side of the square that connect at the top, called an apex. So we're going to identify the cross-section that is parallel to the base. Remember earlier when we saw parallel, that meant same as the base. So we look at the base of this pyramid, and we see this square or rectangle shape. It's kind of hard to identify whether it's a square or rectangle from this angle, but we know that a rectangle would include a square. So I'm going to say if it's parallel to this base, it's the same thing, and I'm going to call it a rectangle. A square is a type of rectangle that has all equal sides and 90-degree angles, and all we can tell from here is that it's at least a rectangle, so we'll go with that. We found the cross section.